to the 8th oral question for today, and I call on the Honourable Alexander O'Connor to ask question 39, 2022. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to ask question number 39/2022 in today's order paper under my name. And the question is directed to the Acting Prime Minister, the Attorney-General and Minister for Economy, Civil Service, Communications, Housing and Community Development. Can the Minister inform Parliament on the progress of the Northern Connectivity Programme as announced in Parliament last year? Thank you.
Thank you. I now call on the Acting Prime Minister and Attorney General and Minister for Economy, Civil Service, Communications, Housing and Community Development, the Honourable Aiyaz Sayed-Khaiyum. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I must admit that since being in Parliament for a number of years now, for 2 terms nearly, this was one of the most pleasurable tours I had, actually, in Vanuatu when I went there last week, because it was so immensely empowering to see the immense empowerment of these people in very remote areas who are now connected to the internet. We had school children being excited because they can now access the internet, things we actually take for granted. There are 40 sites, sir, that have now been connected. They include schools and nursing stations. And Mr. Speaker, sir, we work together with the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Health as to which sites should be connected. There's still a number of other schools that need to be connected, and I'm sure some nursing stations, sir. Just very quickly, this project is now, as announced in Parliament last week, is being completed. It was, in fact, completed by December. We did go down to see a few of those sites. We went to Lutukina District School, Koroina Solo Village School, Galitu District School, Dawara District School, St. Paul's Primary School, Wailevu East Primary School, Vunisalu Salu Primary School, Volivoli Primary School, Langi Health Center, and Dongutuki Nursing Center, sir. So we have now all these nursing stations, Mr. Speaker, sir, where the nurses actually have access to internet. We gave them screens, we gave them webcams, some of them also were given IP phones. So in fact they can, because a lot of these nursing stations don't have doctors, so they can, for example, patients can sit in front. This is a very basic type of telemedicine they can have with, Lambasa hospitals where doctors can see them. So that's one aspect of it, sir. And the other aspect, of course, was for the schools. The teachers now, as you know, under FAMIS, because for FAMIS they have to travel all the way to Lambasa or Savu-Savu. It takes them hours to do that. Now they actually sit in the comfort of the office, get connected, download the worksheets for the students. They don't have to go 2 hours to print it somewhere. We've given them printers. So it's extremely powerful. And so also some of the schools where there was a village or community living by, we Wi-Fi'd those schools also. So in other words, as you get out of the school, some places about 300 meters, some of them about 150 meters, it was Wi-Fi. So somebody could come from the village and sit outside in the compound, in the schoolyard, and actually connect to the phone. Connect to Viber, connect to WhatsApp, connect to internet, things we actually take for granted in the cities. Extremely empowering situation, sir. And just to let you know, Mr. Speaker, sir, how we got the funding for this, we had borrowed $5.54 million USD for the submarine cable that's built out of the cable that comes to the Southern Cross cable in Botswana, the Samoan one that came between Taveuni and Vanuatu. We built a pipe of that. And Mr. Speaker, sir, there were some funds that were left, and we then committed it for what we call the connecting the unconnected for Vanuatu. And Mr. Speaker, sir, when we were also there, we in fact, just by way of information, we of course did the scoping and then we outsourced the work. We called for tenders. Vodafone and Telecom were the main providers for the connectivity. We had, of course, a lot of the schools don't have electricity also. So we gave them solar panels, very high powered. We've got batteries actually, very powerful batteries that will store the energy. And of course, we gave all of that to them, sir, and also, like I mentioned, the personal computers and the other peripherals that go with it. And Mr. Speaker, sir, then part of this program also, we've in fact expended about $1.1 million for emergency telecommunication solution. And those phones are now coming. So a lot of these areas, because of cyclones, they're quite remote. So we will now have the emergency telecommunications. It's about to arrive into the country, I think, in about 3 weeks' time. So these people will also be connected in the Northern Division. The last point, Mr. Speaker, sir, was that I've got a whole list. I know have people want to go home of all the 40 sites that have been connected. But we had the Wailesi team also, sir, that went with us. And all of these places, Mr. Speaker, sir, that I've just mentioned that we did go to, they all requested a Wailesi. And all of them have been connected with Wailesi. The students wanted, there's, as you know, an educational channel on Channel 10 on the Wailesi platform, so they have access to that. What was really interesting, sir, is some of the schools we went to, the heads of the schools from the other schools that were nearby, they all came over and said, look, we want to be connected also to the internet, but also they wanted a connection to Wailesi, and they'll be doing all of that within the next 2 weeks, sir. So all in all, Mr. Speaker, said it's a very rewarding experience. We're just talking about the BPO Council. We're just talking to some people that now that we have the submarine cable landing in Sabu Sabu, sir, there's an opportunity in the future now, of course, if we want to lay fiber optic cable, in Sabu Sabu up to Lambasa, huge opportunity to do that. And even when we're expanding the BPO sector, we can actually have some of these call centers in Vanuatu. Because as we said, we want to keep the people in Vanuatu. That's their home. A lot of them actually leave Vanuatu to come to Viti Levu for jobs. In fact, we'd like it to be the other way around. We'd like some people from Viti Levu to go to Vanuatu. Real estate is actually a lot more attractive in terms of pricing, and for the businesses it will be good, and of course it will create a lot more jobs. So that's just a very quick update in respect of the Northern Division connectivity, sir. Thank you.
I thank the Acting Prime Minister.